House of Representatives at that time, Kevin McCarthy, who joins us by phone. Congressman, this is such a troubling moment for our country to see an attempted assassination like this in the heat of a political campaign 4 months out from the election. I wonder what your message is to your Republican colleagues and to the country at this hour.
Well, my first are to the prayers to the family that have lost lives and to the president. The challenge that we have is the rhetoric that has continued to rise in this country. We all I think, need to take a very deep breath to be able to work forward here. I've been able to speak to the president's son and to the staff who was with the president going back to the plane. I know the fear that they had looking through that and watching the President Trump himself get shot, but how strong he was going through what he's going through today.
What have you learned, former Speaker McCarthy, about what's happening in former President Trump's inner circle tonight? We've heard from Donald Trump Jr. What did he tell you? What are you hearing from his top campaign advisors? You are as plugged in as any Republican I know. Please help us understand what is going on within the inner circle of the presumptive nominee at this exact time tonight.
Well, with his son was back in Florida, is actually on a boat when he was told, but he was able to talk to his father very quickly. I've talked to some staff that were right next to the president, was with him in the hospital, in the car driving back. The president is, if you can only imagine going through this, but the strength that this man has gone through his entire life, and to be sitting on stage and watch that, a lot of their thoughts and prayers are with the family of who came to the rally, lost their lives, and was injured. We're now hearing a colleague, Congressman Ronnie Jackson's nephew, is one individual who was wounded and shot in the neck, scraped him, was at the rally as well.
That is the congressman and former White House physician, Ronnie Jackson. You were saying his nephew. You know this is true? You know this?
Yes. Ronnie has put this out forward that his nephew was there at the rally, back behind the tent, and was wounded in the incident. I spoke to a couple congressmen who were there, who just maybe 30 feet back, and one of the incidents of a lady being wounded was just right behind them, was shot. The number of bullets they heard going through, you could hear from their voices the concern. But, here's the President Trump who's been shot, and his concern has really been with those at the rally who were injured. And his thanks was to the Secret Service, to the work that they have done, the protection that they have provided. He is actually dealing with this much calmer than I imagine others that can go through it. But his real concern is with those who were injured at the rally itself.
Do you believe, former Speaker McCarthy, there will still be outdoor rallies in this campaign for the rest of 2024?
The Secret Service probably will have a big say in that. But it's the one thing, knowing President Trump, he loves to be with the people, and anything the president does, there's such large crowds. I don't know how you go about doing it without having it, but maybe I know there'll be heightened security going forward. There just has to be.
Do you think this delays the vice presidential selection or the convention in any way?
Knowing President Trump, no, not at all. I mean, I know that just talking to him the other day, he's going down to the very final portion here of making that decision. But knowing the president, he'll only be more invigorated to make sure to not let a sick person like this win in any shape or form, and to show the country that we can come together. We've got to, in this nation, to respect one another's opinion. If somebody has a different opinion of yours, does not mean they're less American. You need to respect different opinion. That's what democracy is about. And to see a tragic situation like this, you look back at American history in the 60s and others, we do not want to repeat from that. We're supposed to be a more perfect union, to strive to be better. And I hope people take this moment in time of the attack on President Trump's life to actually dial down the rhetoric and really start respecting one another's differences of opinion.
Former Speaker Kevin McCarthy, we couldn't agree with that sentiment more. We need to show more respect and be able to have civil conversations. There is no place for political violence, period.